Hello, my name is Elsa, and I am the Bad Mini Painter. And we finally have a 10th edition, which means that we have these lovely push-fit models from the Leviathan Box. I can't seem to get them to fit together properly, even cutting out the little knobs and sewing at it, and I still end up with gaps everywhere, and I have run out of green stuff, and I wanted to paint this, so I was kind of hoping that the paint would cover it up. Anywho, so I give it a white base coat, just spray, and then I decided instead of Kislev, which is a pretty warm skin color, I would try to use Flayed One Flesh from Citadel. And what I do is I basically just slap it on, and then I go in and dry brush it with an eggshell white, in this case Ivory Tusk from Two Thin Coats, which just is a really nice color, and the Two Thin Coats paints are highly pigmented, so they're easy to use in like all cases. Talking about bad pigmentation, Nagaroth Knight for the base color for the carapace. It's considering that Citadel calls this base color, is pretty bad. It's very watery, so I ended up some places giving it 3 coats. That's a lot for base color, just to get coverage. Oh, and of course I did the thin coats not to clog up everything, but I was kind of impressed. Next, to add some variation and wear and tear on the carapace, I go in with the Cerois would be how I said it in Denmark anyway. Purple, Cereos. Anyhow, and I slap a nice amount on every plate, going almost up to the end, but leaving some shadow. And then it's time for Genestealer Purple. Now the whole point is to make it look like it's kind of worn, and like the places that would scrape against stuff from battle damage or whatever, and also just to add some variation to what otherwise would have been a kind of white and purple model. So I'm more picky where I put this one. And finally, it's Slanesh Grey, and when I apply that, I put some distance between the lines, and it's only right up to the edge that I use it. Oh, and I do some edge highlighting as well. And I really like that aesthetic. Makes it it gives a like a organic feeling, I guess. Pink horror for the tongue, because we need that, else it would just be too phallic. Then we go in with Kislev Flesh for the skin of the wings, or the flaps. Anywho, for the wings. And I add 1 coat. Demon Red from Two Thin Coats for the weaponry and the weapons, and for the claws and spikes, and also the hooves. I know that that some do the Leviathan where the hooves are black, maybe the nails or whatever are black too, but I like the red. And it gets a layer of null oil. To dirty it up a little, to add shadows and whatnot. And for the wings, I give him a Reichland Flesh Shade. And afterwards I go in with the Kislev again and touch up on the raised areas. So I try to only keep the shading in the recesses. And now for my favorite part of doing Tyranids is the Carroburg Crimson. Just generally I go in to all the recesses, all the vents, and I add just a little bit, and I use a very fine tipped brush for this, and it makes a huge difference for the end result. So kind of therapeutic, just slapping it on there. And when you use a little bit too much, you can always use that as your painting pot. And a little bit of highlight, and Wild Rider Red is my go-to when I have to highlight well, even the more vibrant reds. But if I have to highlight red, Wild Rider Red does the trick for me. I did also decide that the tongue was looking kind of boring, so Emperor's Children. Just to where I think the light would hit. That's better. And finally some highlights on the skin. I use White Star from Two Thin Coats, and I had no idea where the camera was pointing when I decided to do this. So yeah, that's a thing. But generally, again, all the raised areas that I imagine would be hit by light, I just give a fairly thin coat of the White Star. It's highly pigmented, so. And if you don't have a White Star, you can use Citadel's White Scar, which is the worst paint ever created. And oh, you can't see this because I'm covering it up with my hands, but I decided a dab of Yellow Flame from Two Thin Coats would be brilliant for the eyes. I don't know. It was okay, I guess. And finally I go in with some black brush just for the teeth. It's a very thin wash, so it will run into all the crevices without overshadowing the teeth. And here's the end result. I could have done better, I'll admit that, but hey, I finally got to paint one of the new models, and that was fun. It's one of the more frustrating Tyranid models I've painted, because there are some really hard to reach areas. But all in all, the end result is, I'm going to say okay. Yeah, I'm going to be generous towards myself because someone has to, and say that it's an okay job. It could have been worse. I mean, I think if I freeze frame it right there, use that for a thumbnail, it would look like I did something decent. Anywho, thank you so much for watching, if you made it all the way through. Please do leave a like, it helps a lot. Subscribe if you feel like it, and have a good day.